Hello, this is Jeremy Popkin, the chair of the Jewish Federation of the Bluegrasses Planning Committee for our annual Yom HaShoah observance. Over the years, Yom HaShoah has become one of our most important community rituals. It brings together members of the Central Kentucky Jewish community and friends of many faiths to keep alive the memory of those lost in the Shoah and to recommit ourselves to fight against prejudice and injustice in the world today. This year, as we are all too well aware, is not a normal year, and we realized some time ago that we would not be able to hold the commemoration we had planned for the morning of Sunday, April 19th. The Planning Committee held a virtual meeting to discuss how to deal with these exceptional circumstances. We decided that it was important to join other Jewish communities in this country and around the world in doing something to mark Yom HaShoah, even though we know there is no satisfactory replacement for a true community gathering. Yom HaShoah is important not just because it is an occasion to remember the past and make sure that the victims of the Shoah are not forgotten, but because it is a chance for us to remind ourselves and the world that Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel, lives, and because it commits us to work for a future in which Jews and all other peoples can live together in peace and mutual respect. In that spirit, we invite you to help us keep the tradition of Yom HaShoah alive by watching this short video presentation, including the lighting of memorial candles and the reading of the essays by the winners of the annual Emily Zakeli competition for students in the Fayette County schools. In place of the usual small group discussions that are part of our annual program, we invite you to download and read the document on Jewish resistance that will be sent out by the Jewish Federation. That's the theme we had originally selected for discussion this year. And then to contact Jeremy Popkin at the email address that will be given in the mailing if you would like to take part in an online discussion led by me and Professor Ken Slepian from Transylvania University, which will take place at 11 a.m. Sunday, April 19th, the time originally intended for our community Yom HaShoah observance. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing many of you at the discussion on the night.
pause to light memorial candles. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagi god lecha, ulanetzach netzachim, ulanetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nahakdish. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagi god lecha, ulanetzach netzachim, ulanetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nahakdish. We rise, if you're able to, as we recite the El Malei Rachamim, the traditional prayer for those who have died. El Malei Rachamim, shochen b'meromim, hamtze menucha nechona, tachat kanfei ashchina. Ihim kidoshim utehorim, kezohara kiyamazhirim, lehenishmot yakirenu shehalchu leolamam, ba'al harachamim, hastirem b'seter knafecha leolamim, V'yitzror b'yitzror ha'chayim et nishmatam, Adonai hu nachalatam, v'yanuchu b'shalom amishkavam, v'nomar Amen. O God, full of compassion, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest under the wings of your presence to our loved ones who have entered eternity, through all those who perished in the Shoah, to the 6 million of our brethren who were lost. God of mercy, let them refuge forever in the shadow of your wings, and let their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. God is their inheritance. May they rest in peace. And together we say, Amen.
Shalom, everyone. In loving memory of my beloved mother, Emily, and the Emily Sekeli Holocaust Essay Contest, I would like to recognize our winning students. Christy Washington, first place in the high school division from Martin Luther King Academy. Evelyn Dugan from Christ the King School is our middle school winner. Maddie Peters, first place in the elementary division, and she's from Athens, Charlesburg Elementary School. A warm expression of gratitude to our exceptional teachers and their dedication to quality Holocaust education. Lisa Henry and Tim Middleton from MLK. Thank you, Andy Dombrowski from Christ the King. Karen Miracle from Athens, Charlesburg. Kelly Waterbury from Scapa of the Bluegrass. And a very special thanks to Ricky Rosenberg, our heart and inspiration in making this contest her life mission and caring so much about every aspect of it. Thank you, all of you.
First place, middle school division, Christ the King School. Speaking of the Holocaust could be one of the biggest burdens to a person. Think of the survivors, though. Some still remain speechless. They not only have to inform others of what they have been through, but they have to keep living with the horrifying images of what happened to them running through their heads. Just one small memory from a survivor of the Holocaust is like a nightmare that keeps a person from sleeping for weeks. I was 6 years old. The Holocaust was a word to me, maybe not even in my vocabulary yet. My brother and I decided to watch a movie one night, but we couldn't choose what to watch. He decided on a movie about the Holocaust, but of course we were clueless children that didn't know what it was. The movie ended in shrieks and moans. My eyes were wide, my jaw was dropped, and my heart was racing. Surely that wasn't possible. Surely things like that never happened. I was shaken in every part of me. So was my 8-year-old brother. We sat in silence for a few moments, trembling. Our minds were racing in circles with thoughts and fears. It took me many weeks after that to get the images out of my head. For the next few years, I read books and I had more exposure to the violence, the suffering, and the pain of this time. It was unreal to me and still is. My head still cannot wrap around how people could treat others in those horrible ways. One of the two most inspiring stories I heard was about a woman named Gerda Weissman. Her home was invaded. All she could think of was the horrible betrayal she felt. She was also separated from her whole family. Gerda once said, "The reality that I always took for granted had now become a remote fantasy." During times of lost courage and hopelessness, Gerda relied on her imagination. It took her home to a safe place. She survived sicknesses, hunger, pain, losses, and through what she described as tremendous chaos. Her incredible bravery is indescribable, just as every other victim's was. Another story that I found powerful was that of Kurt Messerschmidt, another Jewish survivor, who once said, "Some of the people disapproved of what the Nazis did, but their disapproval was only silence. The silence is what did the harm." Silence from other people is what led to the annihilation of 6 million Jews. 150,000 of those were children. No one spoke up from the first signs. Everyone was scared of Hitler and his power, or they did not care because it did not affect them. Because of this, the Nazis got more and more power. They dehumanized the Jews, stripped everything away from them, from their clothes to their rights, and eventually slaughtered them. Many Holocaust survivors spread a powerful message of hope. They have inspired others to stand against anti-Semitism. Their stories have touched so many people, including me. The sorrowful memories of the Holocaust have brought tears to my eyes many times. They have caused me to be fearful. I cannot imagine what it was like. I cannot imagine slowly watching my everyday reality turn into my worst nightmare. Maybe if more people had spoken out, maybe if less people had carelessly allowed the stereotypes of Jews from the beginning, maybe if the people had read the signs leading up to this horrible event, the suffering would not have happened. Maybe people wouldn't have had their worlds flipped upside down. However, we cannot look back and say maybe. We can only look back and mourn what has happened, but then make sure we look forward and never let it happen again.
Amin, 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 באמונה שלמה, בביאת המשיח, צמאמח, עושה אני מאמין. עם כל זה אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא. אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, God of hope and heartbreak, chaos and compassion, resistance and remembrance. Yehi ratzon lefanecha, may it be your will that the candles we have lit, songs we have shared, and words we have spoken motivate us to take action, to rededicate ourselves to a world that urgently needs our help. The killings in Pittsburgh, Poway, Garden City, and Muncie are recent reminders that no nation and no age is entirely immune from disturbed doctrines of violent anti-Semitism. So let us work to widen our access to mental health care and limit access to lethal weapons. Ethnic cleansing and genocide in China, Myanmar, Syria, and India, and other nations are reminders that mass persecution of innocent people remains a present reality, not merely a painful chapter relegated to the past. So let us make it known that never again means not just never again to the Jews. It means that the community of nations and their citizens will do all we can to renounce, repudiate, and resist extremist forces, whomever, wherever, and whenever they assert themselves. Vile words and violent attacks against our Asian friends and neighbors, falsely accusing them of deliberately spreading COVID-19, are a reminder that the irrational and pathological tendency to blame deadly disease and economic hardship on minorities never dies. So let us dedicate ourselves to resisting it with all our hearts, all our souls, and all our might. May we honor the legacy of those who resisted Nazis and Nazism by resisting all forms of bigotry, bullying, and brutality wherever and whenever it rears its head. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. May God strengthen the goodness in all people, and may the source of goodness bless all people.